The following PowerPoint slides present an overview of information needed to be a successful and informed Harford County employee. Employees are paid every other Friday on a bi-weekly basis. There is a period of 7 days between the payroll ending date and the date of the payroll. Your department's timekeeper is responsible for inputting employee time and attendance. Employees are required to submit leave slips to their immediate supervisor when requesting time off. Annual leave must be approved in advance. Personal leave is use or lose leave. None can be carried forward to the next year and can be taken in 1-hour increments. Sick leave requires a doctor's note for the absence to avoid an occurrence. The fringe benefits section of this presentation covers the rules for using leave in more detail. If an employee needs to work additional hours over their standard work week, their supervisor must approve overtime or comp time. Department heads will establish approval levels within their department. Employees are encouraged to use flex time as an alternative. Comp time off is subject to approval by the supervisor, and approval is dependent on the demands of the workload. Upon termination, retirement, or death, all accumulated comp time will be paid up to a maximum of 120 hours or 240 hours based on the work unit. Employees should report for duty in clothing that is neat, clean, presentable, and appropriate for their workplace. It is understandable that we experience bad weather days and may wear more casual clothing and footwear. The county administration may declare Purple Fridays to celebrate the Ravens or Red, White, and Blue Days to celebrate our patriotic holidays. All employees are issued an ID badge with the county seal in the display. These must be worn during work hours and whenever on county business or other county facilities. Employees must notify Human Resources if the ID is lost or stolen. Upon transfer to another department, employees must obtain and update their ID badge within 30 days of the transfer. Badges should be returned to Human Resources upon leaving employment. If not returned, an employee's final paycheck may be withheld until it is received. All employees are given a copy of the Code of Ethics when they attend orientation. Employees should read this completely to know the ethics that are expected of a county employee. Employees may not ask for or accept any gift from someone who is doing business with the county or has a financial interest that may be substantially affected by the employee's acceptance of a gift. Employees must agree to a code of conduct in order to be granted access to county computers, the internet, and email. Employees have individual county logins and create their own passwords. This information is not to be shared with others because you are responsible for what occurs during your login sessions. Personal misuse of the county internet and email resources may result in a disciplinary action. Also note that commercial software is the property of Harford County government and may not be copied. Social media provides additional forms of communication and interaction with citizens, businesses, and visitors. Requests to use external social networks must be submitted to the Department of Information and Communication Technology. Use of personal social network accounts and user IDs for county use is prohibited. Human Resources will provide instructions on gaining access to Interactive Workforce, the employee tool for managing your personal work information. IW is accessed through the county website at www.harfordcountymd.gov on any computer with internet access. Click on the Employee Links section to access IW, and there is PowerPoint training on IW available at that link. County laborers serve a 3-month probationary period, while other employees serve a 6-month probationary period. There are some leave restrictions during this time. At the end of the probationary period, a performance evaluation should be conducted. Annual performance evaluations are mandatory for all employees. Payroll increases are dependent on a satisfactory evaluation. Employees should find this an opportunity for supervisors and their employees to communicate one-on-one. The county has 2 unions that work with the county administration by representing the participating employees at yearly negotiations. Interested employees should check the AFSCME, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees contract to see if their job classification is represented. Please contact the Department of Human Resources to get contact information for AFSCME representatives, or pause the video and make note of the information on the slide. The Maryland Classified Employees Association, Inc., Chapter 610, is the association that represents certain employees per Article 1 of their contract. Please contact the Department of Human Resources to get contact information for MCEA representatives, or pause the video and make note of the information on the slide. The Department of Human Resources provides training to enhance an employee's skills. Some trainings are mandatory, including diversity and harassment. Human Resources will be providing management and policy training opportunities periodically with new focus on customer service. Employees are shown appreciation for their hard work through the Service Awards program coordinated by the Department of Human Resources. Employees are given service award pins and gifts for their years of employment with the county at 5-year increments. Harford County has just initiated a new program, the Harford County Government All-Star, which takes the place of the former Employee of the Month program. The new program will recognize an employee or group of employees quarterly for their individual and/or team achievement in the areas of customer service, special skills, leadership, volunteerism, special project involvement, and/or demonstration of heroism. County employees receive many fringe benefits when they become employed by Harford County government, making it a very attractive workplace. Employees receive 10 paid holidays per year, starting with New Year's Day and Martin Luther King Day in January, President's Day in February, Memorial Day in May, and Independence Day, July 4th. Labor Day is celebrated in September. November and December holidays include Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, and the Friday following Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. If certain holidays fall on a Saturday, the holiday will be recognized the Friday before. If the holiday date falls on a Sunday, the holiday will be recognized on a Monday. Employee leave comes in several forms: annual, personal, sick, and compensatory, comp. Annual leave accrues from the first day of employment with the county and cannot be used until the successful completion of an employee's probationary period. Employees may accumulate a maximum of 40 days of annual leave per year, or 320 hours. Any excess of the 40 days will be deposited in a 106 premium reimbursement account. Annual leave accrues at varying rates per years of employment, from initial employment to 3 years. Annual leave accrues at a rate of 1 day per month, or 12 days per year. From 4 years to 9 years, the accumulation is 15 days per year. 10 to 15 years, 21 days per year. And employees with over 15 years will accumulate 24 days per year, or 2 days per month. Sick leave begins accumulating from the first day of employment. Employees are allowed to use 1 day of sick leave after their first month of employment. Sick leave accumulates at the rate of 10 hours per month for an employee's career with Harford County government, with no limits on accumulation. Personal leave is dependent on date of employment within a calendar year. Employees on board as of December 31st will receive 8 days of personal leave as of January 1st. Personal leave cannot be taken until successful completion of the probationary period. There is no accumulation of personal leave from year to year. Review the chart to see how an employee's initial employment dates affects the number of personal days that are given for the year. Harford County provides up to 12 weeks of unpaid, job-protected leave to eligible employees for certain family and medical reasons. Employees are eligible if they have worked for a covered employer for at least 1 year and they have worked for 1,250 hours over the previous 12 months. FMLA has identified qualifying leave in the following categories: to care for the employee's child after birth or placement for adoption or foster care, to care for the employee's spouse, son or daughter, or parent who has a serious health condition, or for a serious health condition that makes the employee unable to perform the employee's job. Harford County's Family and Medical Leave Policy details the following guidelines for FMLA leave. Employees will be granted up to 12 weeks of paid and/or unpaid job-protected leave during a 12-month period. The county measures the 12-month period in the calendar year. During FMLA leave, the county requires that an employee use any leave accrued before being placed on a leave without pay status. Accrued leave is defined as earned sick, annual, personal, or compensatory time. Leave provided by the sick leave bank will not be considered accrued leave. Additional leave is available to employees under special circumstances. Family leave is available under the FMLA policy for a maximum of 12 weeks per year. 3 days of funeral leave plus 1 day for extended travel is granted for the death of a parent, spouse, child, brother, sister, and grandparent. The in-law relationships from one's spouse are also applicable, such as mother-in-law, etc. 3 weeks of military leave is given where applicable, and civil leave for jury duty is allowed with no loss of pay while serving. The county administration may declare a day of administrative leave at their discretion. In most cases, this would involve an inclement weather event. A snow day may involve closure of county offices or a delay in the work schedule for a late opening. Essential personnel must report for their normal schedules. Liberal leave allows employees to use their own leave when the county may be under an inclement weather event without prior approval from their supervisors. Employees are still required to contact their supervisors to notify them that they are not going to report to work. No matter what kind of leave that is used, it is the employee's responsibility to get prior approval or notify their supervisor. Harford County wants to keep its employees healthy and offers them opportunities to do so. An annual wellness fair with health screenings is open to all employees. When the budget allows, free flu shots are offered to employees and family members. The Department of Human Resources coordinates timely wellness information and opportunities for employees to participate in maintaining good health.
Employees are offered a variety of choices and benefit options with Harford County government. Most of the benefits are primarily funded within the county's budget, with reasonably priced co-pays for county employees. Voluntary benefits have also been negotiated to provide additional options for employees. Employees are provided a portal through the Harford County government website at www.harfordcountymd.gov to keep track of their payroll records, their benefit choices, leave balances, and personal contact information. The interactive workforce instructions are provided on the website in a PowerPoint presentation. Periodic training is also provided. Benefits open enrollment is held each year in May when employees are required to review their benefit options and renew or make revisions to their selections. Healthcare, flexible spending, and retirement contributions are pre-tax payroll deductions. CareFirst is the healthcare provider for Harford County government and offers 2 plans, either the triple option or the Blue Choice Opt-Out Plus. Employees who are residents of Maryland must enroll in the Blue Choice Opt-Out Plus plan. Both plans offer prescription drug coverage. Employees should review for copays and deductibles before selecting their open enrollment. Delta Dental is the provider of dental insurance for Harford County and offers a choice of 2 plans, the PPO Plus Premier Plan and the PPO Plan. Vision coverage is available for employees through Select Vision, a division of CareFirst. The healthcare plan, Blue Choice Opt-Out Plus, includes discounted eyewear through Davis Vision. Employees can set aside pre-tax deductions during open enrollment to be used for their healthcare expenses and/or childcare expenses. WageWorks is the administrator for this benefit and provides employees with a credit card that can be used for healthcare expenses and childcare expenses. Harford County government provides $20,000 in life insurance coverage at no cost to its employees, effective from the first day of employment. Employees have the option to purchase additional life insurance coverage for themselves or family members through the standard, the county provider. Long-term disability insurance is a voluntary benefit offered through the standard and not funded by Harford County government. The county's sick leave bank provides short-term disability for employees who choose to join. Lincoln Financial Group offers opportunities for employees to create savings accounts through the county's IRS 457 plan. The investment's contributions are withheld pre-tax through payroll deduction. The customer service contact number for Lincoln Financial is 1-800-234-3500. Aflac offers options for employees to participate in accident and illness insurance policies through payroll deductions. Aflac representatives participate in the open enrollment sessions held by Human Resources. Harford County has secured special rates for its employees on auto, home, boat, and motorcycle insurance through Liberty Mutual Insurance. This voluntary benefit is paid through payroll deduction. The mental health of county employees is also important, and the Employee Assistance Program has been set up to help employees cope during rough times. Whether it's stress management, marital problems, anxiety, vocational concerns, or substance abuse, the EAP is here to help employees and their family members. Up to 3 sessions are offered at no cost, and all calls and contacts are confidential. The contact number is 1-866-327-2400. Harford County government employees are placed in the Maryland State Pension System. Employees contribute 7% of their earnings towards this benefit that is withheld through payroll deduction. Employees hired after July 1, 2010 are automatically enrolled in a PEP 105H account. This account is employer-funded and tax-free. There are 20 different investment options. Funds from this account are solely for the use of offsetting premium health care costs, prescriptions, co-pays, and deductibles. Upon death, funds are made available to a surviving spouse or qualified dependents. The account can only be accessed upon separation of service and/or retirement. Upon an employee's death, their beneficiary will receive $20,000 in life insurance, 50% of the employee's accumulated sick leave, all accumulated annual leave, 1 month's salary, and a maximum of 2 days personal leave. The Maryland State Retirement Agency will pay an employee's beneficiary for 1 year of service, plus the employee's contribution to the state's pension system with interest. It is important for employees to keep their information up to date with the Department of Human Resources and the Maryland State Retirement Agency. The Department of Human Resources has personnel available to assist employees with their benefits questions. Contact Benefits Program Manager Beth Griffith at extension 3202 or Benefits Specialist Tamara Simmons at extension 4871.
Welcome. I'm Eric Edelson, Harford County Safety and Compliance Officer. By now you've heard and seen that Harford County is a great place to live and work. Our professional workforce is our most precious resource. That is why, first and foremost, your safety is our #1 priority. Obviously, Harford County complies with all federal, state, and local regulations, but it's more than that. Safety isn't in addition to the job, it is the job. Remember, do your job safely and never put yourself or anyone else at risk. Here's a review of some safety procedures essential to county employees.
Safety is number 1. As an unknown author once said, it is better to lose 1 minute in life than to lose life in a minute. The County Safety Manual serves as a guide for employees. A brief overview of the Safety Manual was given during employee orientation. The Safety Manual provides an initial written plan for managing the loss control program for all Harford County employees. Harford County recognizes its obligation to provide working conditions that foster a safe environment for employees. Every employee must identify situations that could result in injury, illness, and/or damage to property. Employees are responsible to wear clothing suitable for the work being performed and use all required safety equipment. Maintaining all safety equipment and tools in good repair is essential to continued safety. The employee's worksite should be maintained in a clean, orderly manner. Employees should act in a professional manner at all times and fulfill their responsibility to safeguard county resources. Employees are encouraged to review pertinent information at least annually or on a needed basis. Initial questions should be directed to the immediate supervisor or contact the safety manager in the Department of Human Resources. Universal precautions is an approach to infection control to treat all human blood and certain human body fluids as if they were known to be infectious for HIV, HBV, and other blood-borne pathogens. Blood-borne pathogens are disease-causing microorganisms that may be present in human blood or other potentially infectious materials, known as OPIM. These are transmitted via exposure through direct contact, blood splash or spray, handling contaminated items or surfaces, and injection under the skin by puncture wounds or cuts from contaminated sharps. Standards have been established for dealing with bloodborne pathogens, and employees are to observe the universal precautions to prevent contact with blood or other potentially infectious materials. Under circumstances in which differentiation between body fluid types is difficult or impossible, all body fluids shall be considered potentially infectious materials and treated as such with appropriate precautions. Employees should use gloves, masks, and gowns if blood or OPIM exposure is anticipated. Use engineering and work practice controls to limit exposure. An occupational exposure incident occurs when an employee comes in contact with blood or OPIM through needle stick, laceration, or splash. These exposures are classified as injuries and should be reported. Employees and supervisors are obligated to report an incident and notify their supervisor immediately. The supervisor will notify the safety officer immediately, which assures timely access to medical services. This also allows immediate causal analysis to adopt other methods or devices to prevent exposures from happening. Safe driving is a condition of employment. Employees must maintain a valid driver's license. Applicable new hires must have 3 points or less on their driver's license. Harford County employees must be the nicest drivers on the road, obeying all rules at all times. Employees must have limited hands-free calling and no texting, ever. The onus is on the employee to report any changes to their driving status. If a driver's license is canceled, suspended, refused, revoked, or restricted, employees must report that to their departmental supervisor. The supervisor is obligated to notify the Department of Human Resources immediately. An employee with 6 or more points on their driver's license will not be able to drive a county vehicle or drive on the county's behalf. For additional information, safety training, or emergency assistance, contact Eric Kettleson at 410-638-4872 or via cell phone at 410-935-0086 or email at ewkettleson@harfordcountymd.gov. Employees who purchase items for their department will be required to follow certain purchasing guidelines. The following parameters have been set for purchases. Purchases under $2,500 may be purchased on a DPO, direct purchase order. No bids or quotes are necessary. Purchases from $2,501 to $24,999.99 may be purchased on a DPO, but 3 written or faxed quotes must be obtained and kept on file for 3 years. Each department has a purchasing agent assigned by the Department of Procurement to assist with purchasing materials. Purchases over $25,000 must be formally bid through the Department of Procurement. The Board of Estimates is a reviewing authority working with the administration and the Department of Procurement to oversee large purchases. Board of Estimates action is required for all bids over $50,000, including piggyback contracts, independent contractors, sole source requirement and cooperative purchases, and all consultant or professional services over $25,000, including piggyback contracts, sole source requirements, and cooperative purchases. Direct vouchers, DVs, may be used for memberships, subscriptions, self-insurance payment, and other items that are not purchased often. Backup documentation noting the DV number will be forwarded to accounts payable. Employee expense reports should be prepared with proper documentation and forwarded for appropriate approvals. The Department of Procurement also handles the P-Card program. Individuals who are given Harford County credit cards or who administer the credit cards will be trained by the Department of Procurement on the responsibilities of the users. Contact the Department of Procurement for regulations that affect recycled materials and disposal of surplus property. Instructions on pool cars and vehicle use will be handled by individual departments, but will follow the guidelines set in the procurement policy. Contact the Department of Procurement at 638-3550 for additional information. An employee's behavior in the workplace can determine so much of their future career. The quote on the slide is very appropriate. Work joyfully and peacefully, knowing that right thoughts and right efforts inevitably bring about right results. During orientation, employees have received a copy of the substance abuse policy. No illegal drugs, drug paraphernalia, or prescription medication determined to produce hazardous effects are permitted at the workplace. Testing for drugs and alcohol is conducted for pre-employment testing, reasonable suspicion, and post-accident. Random testing is conducted on employees who have a CDL license or safety-sensitive functions. Positive results from testing will cause termination of the employee with no second chance. Employees were given copies of the harassment discrimination policy during orientation. Harford County absolutely prohibits and will not tolerate discrimination and/or harassment based on sex, race, color, national origin, age, mental or physical disability, religion, or any other attribute protected by law. No discrimination toward any employee or person in the workplace will be tolerated. Examples of discrimination and harassment include the following: written or verbal communications with offensive name-calling, jokes, slurs, negative stereotyping, and threats, unwelcome sexual advances, verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature, nonverbal contact such as leering, giving of inappropriate gifts, assault or unwanted touching, offensive photos, cartoons, drawings, or gestures. The definition of workplace bullying is the repeated less favorable treatment of a person by another or other in the workplace, which may be considered unreasonable and inappropriate. Examples of workplace bullying include threatening gestures or actual violence, aggressive, abusive, or offensive language, including threats or shouting, demeaning remarks, and constant unreasonable and unconstructive criticism. Workplace bullying does not include legitimate comments and advice from an employee's supervisor, an approved disciplinary action, or inappropriate action by a supervisor to manage poor work performance, or inappropriate employee behavior. We have all heard news stories where a disgruntled employee harms a coworker or supervisor. Harford County has a workplace violence policy that details what is prevented in the workplace. No employee should injure another person physically, nor should they engage in behavior that creates fear of injury in another person or subjects another person to extreme emotional distress. Unless required by an individual's position, no weapons should be at the workplace. Intentionally damaging property will also not be tolerated. Employees shall not intimidate, threaten, or cause bodily harm to another person, nor should they retaliate against an employee who reports a violation of this policy. Should an employee feel that they are the victim of a violation of one of these policies, they should report the incident to their supervisor and the Department of Human Resources. A review will be conducted by the Department of Human Resources, which may result in further investigation by the Law Department. A violation of the harassment, discrimination, workplace bullying, or the workplace violence policies constitutes misconduct and may result in a disciplinary action up to and including termination from employment. Off-duty violent acts of employees may also be grounds for disciplinary action. Discipline at work is a means for supervisors to correct behavioral deficiencies and ensure adherence to established rules. A positive approach may solve the problem, but if there is an ongoing problem with unacceptable behavior, Harford County has a process to follow. The Supervised Sick Leave Policy was developed to give managers a tool to deal with employees with excessive use of their sick leave. When an employee has 8 occurrences of sick leave within a 12-month period, or their sick leave balance falls below 40 hours, a supervisor should review the attendance with the employee and give counsel regarding sick leave use. An occurrence is one or more consecutive hours of scheduled work missed due to the use of sick leave without submission of a doctor's certification. After counseling, an employee may be placed on supervised sick leave if they have an additional occurrence, and a doctor's certification must be submitted each time the employees use sick leave. Supervised sick leave must be approved by the employee's department head and the Director of Human Resources. Employees may submit a request in writing to their supervisor to be released from supervised sick leave. If that is denied, it is appealable through the grievance process. An employee enrolled in the Employee Assistance Program will provide a doctor's certification directly to the Director of Human Resources. The Harford County Code provides the guidance for discipline and appeal. Under most circumstances, discipline follows a path: a verbal reprimand, a written reprimand, suspension without pay or discharge from employment. Under certain circumstances, steps may be skipped. Grounds for discipline include incompetency, incapacity or inefficiency in duties, a violation of law, official rules or policies, insubordination, conviction of a felony or misdemeanor involving moral turpitude and negligence in performing duties. Additional grounds for discipline include conduct unbecoming an employee of the county, conduct subversive to the laws of the county, state, or United States, or conduct detrimental to the efficiency or morale of the service. Additional grounds for disciplinary action include misuse of public funds or public property, falsifying reports or records, using alcohol or controlled dangerous substances on duty, and promoting or participating in a strike, work stoppage, or slowdown. The Department of Human Resources has developed forms for employees to use to file the grievance with specific timeframes that must be met. A Step 1 grievance involves the aggrieved employee and their immediate supervisor. An employee may file an appeal with their supervisor within 5 days of the incident that caused the grievance. The supervisor will respond within 5 days on his or her decision. At Step 2, after a denial of Step 1, an employee may submit a grievance form to their department head, who has 5 days to respond with a scheduled hearing date with the employee. If denied at Step 2, a grievance can be filed at Step 3 with the Director of Human Resources, who shall respond within 10 days with a date for a hearing. After the hearing, the Director of Human Resources has 10 days to respond in writing to the grievant with his or her decision. Under some circumstances, a grievant may appeal directly to the Director of Human Resources, bypassing Step 1 and 2. Those circumstances include appeal or denial of a salary increment based on unsatisfactory employee performance or evaluation, unauthorized use of a sick leave, appeal of a suspension of 3 days or less, and appeal of a disciplinary action, including a verbal or written warning if the department head is in agreement. If an employee grievance is denied at Step 3, the employee has 5 days of receipt of the written response from the Director of Human Resources to file an appeal with the Personnel Advisory Board. The PAB will schedule a hearing with at least 2 board members present in appeals of dismissals, demotions, and suspensions in excess of 3 days. Other appeals at this stage may have a hearing at the discretion of the PAB. Upon agreement with both parties, time limits may be waived. In all cases, the decision of the PAB is final. The following circumstances may appeal directly to the Personnel Advisory Board: suspension for gross misconduct or life or property threatening action, appeals of disciplinary suspension in excess of 3 days, or termination. Harford County encourages both parties to resolve the grievance appeal at the lowest possible level. By mutual agreement, both parties may consolidate related appeals and present them as a single action. Failure of management to respond within the timeframes constitutes a denial of the grievance. Failure of the employee to file an appeal in response to any level of this process constitutes acceptance.